That means Erica got it. So now I'm panicking because he talked to somebody in the same building as me. I knew deep down I was going to make it bigger than what it was. I was going to blow the spot over. When I always use protection, because you don't know how something can affect your life in the long run. I feel like in the nighttime. What's up, family? It's your big sis T Renee, and I am back today with another story. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Hey, I'm hoping that one day you find something on this platform that resonates with you and make you want to come back and subscribe. If you're a returning subscriber or a returning viewer, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. I know y'all are here for a story time, and that's exactly what I'm going to give you. But before we get to that, y'all, go ahead, drop down below in the comment section. Leave a hey girl, hey, what's up, big sis? All comments are welcome and greatly appreciated. Just make sure y'all keep them respectful. As you all have seen the title, you have an idea of what this story is going to be about. So family, let's get to that story. I hope y'all have been having a wonderful week. It is currently... what's today, y'all? Thursday? My plan was to have this video up and ready to be viewed by you all on Tuesday. But you know, sometimes life just not happen the way you want it. I got so tired of other things that I had going on that I forgot to finish uploading the video. But anyway, here we are. I'm hoping y'all stay tuned and enjoy the video. And so today will be part 2 of my story that I posted last week about how a fire exposed my boyfriend cheated on me. So if y'all haven't tuned in to that video, please go do that so you can get caught up and to know what's going on here with this video. So like I said last week, I was like, you need to be careful and always use protection when you're with somebody. I mean, if you choose to stop using it once you know you're about to be married or whatever it is, whenever you feel like you don't need to use protection with your mate, that's totally up to you, but just make sure y'all get tested. And like I'm saying, always use protection, because you don't know what the person that you're with doing behind your back when you're not around, or the persons that they were with before you was doing, or the person that they may be cheating on you with, the other person that they may have been cheating on you with was doing. And I'm saying that to say, during this particular time, I was being cheated on by this guy that I, felt that I wanted to take a little more serious. I stopped talking to all my other little joints at the time. I don't even know the term we was using. We was probably calling them junts, because shit, they're just something we use from where I was from, calling them junts. So yes, whoever I was dating or talking to, but outside of him, I was slowly like fading away from them, just, kind of phasing them out, because I wanted to take him a little more serious. But of course, I found out that he was also talking to a girl in my building, in my dorm. And this girl was a girl that I was around all the time. She was cousins to my roommate, even though her and my roommate wasn't as close anymore, because this same cousin, whom I call her Erica, was messing with a guy that my roommate Chlamydia was talking to as well. And so that's kind of how they kind of like fell out, but they were still communicating because that's her family at the end of the day. She didn't want to allow a man to come between them, but he did, you know what I'm saying? And so when I found out that he was also talking to this girl, I didn't want to put the whole blame on him. But what made me so mad about him, like I mentioned before, was the fact that he talked to somebody in the same building as me. That was a pact that we made. If we're going to be out here talking to other people, just make sure we don't talk or hook up or whatever we want to call it with somebody that's in the same building as us. Granted, he stayed in one of the he stayed in one of the college's apartments, but it's so big over there. I made sure it wasn't none of his homeboys. Hopefully nobody that his homeboys is cool with. The guys that I talked to was a guy that was living in the city of Nashville, and a couple other guys that went to the school, but, didn't stay over there or whatever. So I made sure to respect the boundaries that him and I set. Like, if you're going to be out here entertaining other people, just make sure it's nobody that I see that I know that's staying where I lay my head. And this girl was staying where I lay my head. So what I figured out was, after he'll get done hanging out with me, he'll hang out with her, or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, y'all tune in from last week's story time so you'll know what happened before this. So like I said, I didn't trip too much about it because I knew deep down I was going to make it bigger than what it was. I was going to blow the spot up when I was ready to blow the spot up and try to embarrass him and her. But y'all, I didn't have to do too much because they embarrassed themselves. But I did kind of spread the word a little bit more. And so now this comes back to when I say always use protection, because you don't know how something can affect your life in the long run. So yes, y'all, remember when I told y'all I called my roommate chlamydia? I don't know if I gave the reason I called her that in an old story time with my roommate. Like, I linked the story times, like a whole section of story times about my roommate chlamydia in last week's story time in the description. Maybe I'll link those here. You have to go down a rabbit hole and get caught up or whatever. But yes, this was the guy that she was talking to and her cousin was also talking to, sleeping with, was the guy, one of the guys that gave my roommate chlamydia. So that's where she kind of got that name from. You know, she was messing with some other people and baby, she was constantly getting stuff from people. Like, my roommate was just not being cautious at all, y'all. Like, she was not giving down. My whole point is saying, man, use protection. I don't care how good a person make you feel, how much you think they like you, how good you think it's going to feel. But I don't care how. Use that shit, especially when you in an environment like going to college, out of state, in the state. It don't matter. People are sleeping with one another, whether you know they're sleeping with somebody or not. You just do not know. That's just that. What's the word I want to say? That's just that environment. I mean, that's just some of the things that go on in college. Like that's their life. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, it's sad to say, but that's just what it is. That's just something that happens. It's the inevitable. Somebody that you're talking to is going to possibly be talking to somebody else, the same guy, like same girl. You cannot stop that. It's just something that's just going to happen. That's their culture. That's the word I'm looking for. That's just their college culture. That's what happens. Not everybody go out there and do this. Some people really be focused on their studies. But for the most part, even the smartest person want to get their rocks off. So yes, that's their culture. That happens. And like I said, she ended up getting that from him. And I don't know, it was because he was messing with the cousin Erica. He could have been messing with some other women, which he was messing with other women. You know, on down the line, you find these things out. Of course, she talked to him, everybody was talking to him. And somebody along the way was not protecting themselves. And so, like I said, she got this from him. And so I'm like, dang. You know, and she found this out because she found this out. She got a checkup and found out she had this, and then that was the last guy she slept with. So if you got it and he got it, that means Erica got it. So now I'm panicking because I'm like, Erica got it. So I just had to find out. We just needed to find out. So she confronted her cousin and, you know, like, hey, it's my fun. You need to go get checked out. She's like, yeah, like, that's kind of one of the reasons why I'm stopping and talking to him, because he gave me an STD. The cousin was straight to the point. She was blunt about the stuff. She did not care about her shit. She just kept it 100. I ain't gonna lie. It wasn't like she was fake or phony. She was who she was. She was out there doing her thing, living her life. But also, she wasn't protecting herself, because apparently she was out here letting folks smash her raw. Like, she was raw dogging with these dudes and did not sugarcoat the fact that she didn't always use protection. So she told her, yeah, he gave me STD. That's kind of why I, stopped talking to him. He claimed he got it from somebody else. And then she said, I even asked him, like, would you still messing with my cousin? And then she said, I didn't want to say anything to you, but she said, I didn't know how I was going to approach you, but I knew I was going to eventually say something to you about it and make sure you go get yourself checked out, even though I know we ain't really been talking like that. So yes, they having this conversation, and I'm around on a speaker, and I'm like, she got her on speaker, and I'm like, wow. So I'm looking at my room, I'm like, girl. And she kind of embarrassed, because of course she don't want me to know this going on, but she's like, none that I know. She was feeling some type of way. She was scared, and she was like very emotional about it, because she really did like dude. And of course she got this. It's her first time having this, so of course she asked me to go to the doctor with her, but of course I couldn't go in the room with her and all that. So I was there for more support, but at the same time, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about me now, because I'm like, she talking to the dude I'm talking to. But then I was like, you know what? I ain't gonna trip too much. But you just never know. I still have kissed this guy. But the point I'm like, I ain't tripping too much because me and him always use protection. Because like I said, I knew the environment I was in. I know the culture of people hooking up with random people just because it's college and they feel like they got freedom. I just didn't trust people. I was scared as hell. People just getting stuff. Yeah, I know people got stuff. I knew a girl that had an XTD and we was like in middle school, like 6th, 7th grade or something. So that always stuck with me. So, but I still have kissed this guy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, that don't mean I can't get nothing because I kissed him or whatever. And, you know, other things has happened orally and you just don't know. So now it ain't just the STD or regular STD like chlamydia, gonorrhea. And I hope YouTube don't censor this stuff out. But what I'm saying is you got all kinds of other things like herpes and all that. You just don't know, y'all. So I'm kind of freaking out. I'm like, And so I tried to be cool. So the next time that I saw him, I asked him about it. I was like, so do you and Erica like just have unprotected sex? I just was straight to the point. I said, I know me and you, we use protection, but have you ever like had unprotected sex with her? Like, you know, I kind of had to ease my way into it. I was just like, you know, I kind of been thinking about it. So, but I just want to know if that's something that y'all do, you know, because I kind of been thinking about, I want to do that with you. You know, for some reason, men at that time, or guys, little boys, they was excited when a woman wanted to have unprotected sex with them. Like, I don't know what I don't know what they had going on, but it was just something about it. And he was so excited about it. I said, but no, hold up. Have you and Erica had unprotected sex before? He's like, you know what? I could lie to you, but yeah, we have. We have. I said, well, no, I'm straight then. You know, I said, well, I'm good. I mean, I said, I don't know. I said, your girl, she kind of be out here a little bit. I mean, I know some people she done hooked up with and I don't trust them and I don't trust the situation with her. I said, you lucky I'm still talking to you, but I really just do not trust her in that sense. I said, man, you would never not have unprotected sex from you talking to her alone. But like I said, I had to play it cool, like I was still cool with me and him and I was going to still be hanging out and hooking up with him because I had bigger plans. So y'all, like I said, that go on or whatever. It's almost a couple weeks after we done had this conversation. Me and him ain't had sex since that conversation with him and her having unprotected sex. I had every excuse in the book as to why I could stay all night over there. Me and him, he hung out. We went on our little normal little dates, but I did not stay all night over there. One time I used my period, my menstrual cycle. Another time I'm like, man, I'm just so tired. Something going on with my body. I don't know what's going on. I'm not feeling so good. Like I used every excuse I could. I could have just kept it 100 like, man. And even though I did tell him I'm not going to have unprotected sex with you ever, but the sex alone I didn't want to have with him no more, period. And so one night he was supposed to come pick me up, y'all. Don't y'all know, you know, I watched this man sit outside my dorm, call and blow him off all away for me to come down. Me and my roommate sitting in the window dying laughing because I had no intentions on going out with this man, y'all. Like I said, even though we was hanging out before this situation, I had to play it cool because it was stuff I wanted to do and say. I wanted to get all kinds of information out so I could put them on blast. And so eventually he stopped calling. But y'all, 5 minutes later, guess who comes out the door? Erica. So I wasn't even mad no more because like I said, in my mind, I have already written him off. So, like I said, this was during the weekend. So the following week, I remember it was a Tuesday. So it was something going on like a little student center area, like a little area they had in the middle of the campus where they would be stepping and just doing little different things around. It was just like a little chill spot or whatever. I can't remember what it's called, student center or something. Tiger something. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, we was all just chilling over there. And then next thing you know, homegirl, one of her friends, they just started talking about, you know, hooking up with, you know, different people hooking up with each other, like why everybody got to sleep together. And it was some little skit thing they called themselves trying to do, y'all. Like, it was so funny. And so, Next thing you know, they passing out these little lists. And on these lists is a list of girls. And then from this list of girls, it pointed out different men that they was hooking up with and the men that was hooking up with the other girls. And basically it was showing how all these people were connected to each other and how many people they supposedly had been hooking up with behind other people's back. Basically these girls was like some homewreckers, even though all of us was not married. It was just showing the girls that was hooking up with certain men and girls that supposedly had STDs. Yes, y'all, I don't know who the hell got a hold to this. I really feel like somebody that was like in the medical field or something, and they knew somebody, and you know they have to have this like somehow they have this stuff on record when people go to like the student. They basically go somewhere where all the students go to get like checkups and all this stuff like that. They expose this stuff, this list of people that supposedly had STDs, herpes, just. And HIV, like, y'all, they really put it out there. I don't know who the hell did it. And I think eventually I ain't gonna deep dive, but yes, y'all, like, they basically put out there who supposedly had what, y'all. And of course, Eric was on that list. And Ryan was on that list. I ain't saying I did anything. I ain't saying I had nothing to do with any of this. But y'all, they got exposed for sleeping around and passing around STDs. So now it's a really big thing. People are in their feelings because they feel like if you know you got all this going on, you passing it around on purpose. Like that's really assault. So now it has become this big thing. And so I don't know, like eventually, but I'm just going to say this. Eventually these people on this list had to meet up with like people from like student affairs and some other stuff going on. Some other people they had to talk to, you know, to talk about what this was. So basically they were trying to investigate and see who created this list and who put all this out. Baby, I would never give up that person because I knew some people that had this, that did this. You know what I'm saying? Some people that was involved, but baby, snitches get stitches. And I was not finna tell because, baby, this satisfied me to my core because how dare you put my life in danger? You know what I'm saying? How dare you disrespect me and talk to somebody in our building? Even though we was talking to other people, the fact was you broke protocol. And then you tried to play in my face like you weren't really hooking up with her. You made it seem like that you was picking her up for one of your homeboys when you indeed was sleeping with her. Like that's the thing he said the first time. Like remember I mentioned in the first video, he was like, no, I was just picking her up because you know she was coming to our little group tutoring section, but she was messing with my homeboy. That's originally his story. But eventually he was like, he had to confess, like, yeah, you know, I was messing with her too. So basically him and his homeboy that slept with her, they I guess tossed her is what we used to say in my city. They ran a train on her, or I don't think at the same time, but in some capacity, she slept with both of them. She might as well have slept with them at the same time. So basically, she went over there and hooked up with them at their house, at their apartments. Like in the campus apartments, I'm sure it's like this in a lot of them, not campus apartments, college apartments. It's like 4 people in a little apartment, you know. So what she do, go around each room and sleep with everybody? So basically that's kind of how that was. So she was a pass along girl, but I think he introduced her to those people, so she was always with him because he was like that was like the main dude that she would hang out with, basically her pimp. That's what it seemed like. He was pimping her out, basically not getting paid for it. So you was getting it up for free for a few little funky dates and meal. Basically, y'all, so yes, I didn't even have to do too much exposing, even though I ain't saying I gave a list, but I'm just saying it was a group effort to expose these people and embarrass them, baby. Because don't play with me. Do not play with me. But yes, y'all, it didn't stop there because apparently word got back to Erica that we tried to sabotage her and we created this list, or we had something to do with her name being on this list. Like, I don't know, like we had a snake in the group or whatever, y'all. But y'all gonna have to tune back in to part 3 of what happened after this. After she supposedly found out that we possibly had something to do with her name being put on this don't hook up with home record, passing out known STD list. So yes, y'all. I hope y'all stay for the duration of this video. And I hope y'all gain something possibly from this video, especially y'all young folks that watch my channel. Man, use protection. I don't care. Even if you're a full grown adult, baby, put that thing on. Like, that should be something. Condoms are cheap. Condoms are free. Like, people need to buy that stuff. Like, the fact that they actually have those locked up in the store, like people really stealing them, which is asinine to me because people ain't even using them. So how dare y'all put them in a cage to lock them up, which is so weird. Like, y'all should want people to... I ain't promoting it, but I'm just saying, if somebody gonna steal something, that should be something you take. Because y'all, it is so wild out here, baby. That is a new... It ain't even new. That is a fear. That's like fear factor. That is something you should be afraid of because it is getting real wild out here. They got new stuff out here, y'all. I'm just saying. All this stuff is kind of tied in together. I don't really know, y'all. I don't know. It's scary. It has always been and always will be, y'all. But anyway, like I said, y'all, tune back in for part 3 of this and find out what happens next. And thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank you to my new subscribers. I hope y'all stay subscribed. Also, y'all, make sure y'all turn on y'all post bell notification if you haven't already done so you will know when the next video posts. And thank y'all for continuing to hype my video. Make sure y'all continue to hype those videos if you don't do it. And hey, I appreciate 1 hype a week if you can give me 1 hype. You only get 3. I'll take 1. If you use all 3 of your hypes for me, I so love y'all. Because, you know, apparently some people must do that because folks be in their feelings. Like, I may get 1 person randomly like, how you got all these hypes and you only got this one of it? Because my people probably saving their hypes for me. They want to see my channel grow. It don't really matter, y'all. I ain't here for none of that. I really do not care, baby. My thing that you should take from this, focus on your channel. Focus on what you need to give your people. Focus on what your people like to watch and go from there. My people like my story times, and so that's what they're going to get the most of. Even though I'm trying to get y'all on board with the other things that I want to post, but I appreciate those that do tune in to the stuff that I have been posting. You know, my little random chats and vlogs. I love y'all for that. Those that do engage with it, continue to do that for me. Continue to help push your girl out here if that's something you want me to do. Again, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in, and I'll see y'all in my next one. To catch up on any product story signs that were mentioned in today's video, make sure you click the links in the description below. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel.